Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed. Definitely not my first time. Really good food here. Here to work on women in color. Thank you.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? You remember introductions, right?
Great timing.
All right, fantastic. All right, so I think next is our... Okay, next up, we have tonight's presentation. So we have heard a little bit about CodeAcross. And so for tonight's presentation, Alex and Jake are going to go into a bit more detail about the CodeAcross challenges. So come learn about CodeAcross Toronto, Civic Tech Toronto's yearly hackathon. It's hosted in partnership with the Toronto Public Library. It'll be on Open Data Day, which is on March 3rd and coming up very quickly. You ready? Jake? Oh.
So Alex just told me to write a pitch, so I have 2 minutes of material for you.
I think you guys have a presentation, right?
Oh, no. Was I supposed to have a presentation? Okay.
Was on the screen.
Okay. All right. So this CodeAcross is about the future of work, and Bike Space is on the record as a project to think about the future of commuting. All right. So on Saturday, if you're going, you'll see me stand up and say, when we think of the future of work, we often imagine new models of collaboration or think of redesigning the workplace itself. But perhaps it's just as important to think about how we get to work. In a recent study, it was revealed that those who cycle to work have a 41% lower risk of overall death compared to those who drive or use public transit. Not only that, but biking to work has been linked to greater happiness during the workday. Yet for cyclists who commute in Toronto, the workday often starts with anger and frustration as they're confronted with no safe places to park their bike. Bike Space wants to fix this problem once and for all. Bike Space is a project undertaken by a team of civic hackers based out of Civic Tech Toronto. We have designers, researchers, marketers, and developers creating a simple, mobile-optimized web interface that will allow cyclists to drop a pin on a map, notifying the rest of Toronto where bike parking needs to be improved or installed. Our belief is that we can gather the frustrations of Toronto cyclists together into one large public data set, that if we can do that, we can tell a compelling narrative that our city needs to change. Right now, we have a nice user interface, but we need a dashboard where all of the data we're about to collect is visualized in a comprehensive, insightful, and beautiful way. Today, we are calling upon you to help us design and develop a dashboard that will demonstrate a change needs to happen and that there are better ways for us to start our workdays than sitting in traffic alone, upset, and burning away fossil fuels. If you have a flair for making data sing, or if you want to play with Mapbox, D3JS, and high charts, if you have a great eye for design, believe that evidence-based decision-making is the future, and if you're a passionate cyclist, or if you're just curious and want to see what we're doing, come join us. Thank you.
That was great. I have no idea how I'm going to follow that because that was quick and pithy. So CodeAcross, how many of you guys actually know what CodeAcross is? Raise your hands if you do. Half. Wait, hold on a second. So CodeAcross is our annual hackathon. We're having it in sponsor with the Toronto Public Library. They're hosting us as well as the Government of Ontario. Woo. City of Toronto. We just confirmed RBC has given us a bit of sponsorship, which is great. RBC as well as Ipsos. And yeah, it's great. Specifically, today I'm going to chat to you about a challenge that we're offering. So specifically, the objective of the challenge is to help the City of Toronto, the Government of Ontario, the Government of Canada identify the key stakeholders, topics, values, and guidelines around third-party data sharing agreements. Yes. Who here knows what a third-party data sharing agreement is? What is a third-party? Yeah, so a third-party sharing agreement is information that's collected by an entity that doesn't have a direct relationship with its consumers. So under the Open Data Master Plan of the City of Toronto, to realize the value of open data, Toronto needs to shift focus from solely a catalog of open data sets targeting the development community to a platform that makes open data accessible to a wider audience. Novel forms of engagement and data set exploration will enable greater activation of open data, grow value creation, and meet the responsibilities of Great. So specifically around this, and the reason why we're offering this challenge is third-party data sharing agreements are going to be increasingly more and more common, especially with large tech companies as well as other organizations. And we kind of want to gain a sense of the values and kind of the beliefs around the community specifically and how government should actually approach this. So from this, like how might we as a community help explore and generate data sharing approaches that reflect how Civic Tech, our community Civic Tech, continues to collaborate and co-create with government. What this would enable is, specifically with this challenge, is a ongoing discussion between community and government around third-party data sharing agreements for the purposes of co-creating policy. So this is actually one of the few challenges of the day, specifically that's very, very policy focused. At the end of the day, what we're trying to end up with is a document of values of what Civic Tech believes third-party data sharing agreements should be like with government. And who will use this output? Well, all three branches of government. It is actually quite unique to actually have all three of them at the same place at the same time, eating very delicious food, which is great at the library. So yeah, that's all I got. You guys should come out. And if you can't, if you haven't gotten a ticket, you should help volunteer. So come talk to me afterwards. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do Q&A. Anyone have questions? Comments? How we're imagining it currently is very policy-oriented and user research-oriented. However, if we are going to be offering a couple open data sets that are kind of created by the community, so if some people want to hack on that, that's they're more than happy to.
Can you tell us a bit about the spaces? Will there be whiteboards and other materials like that or available to us?
Whiteboards, no, sadly. I apologize. But so essentially, the entire library is at your disposal, and you may take parts of it. There's a whole part of it specifically called, there's a certain area by the windows that has about 8 tables. That is all reserved for us for the entire day and has excellent Wi-Fi and places to collaborate. There are also a couple of meeting rooms that are available to you if you need to hack in there. Any other questions? So, TPL in the morning will be catered by, can't remember the name, but it's sandwiches, very delicious sandwiches and cookies. However, in the evening, during the after party, there will be naan and kebab, is a Afghani restaurant that is delicious.
Do we know the list of challenges, or do we find out the day of?
You can find that out. The list of challenges is on the website. So Google Civic Tech Toronto, CodeAcross 2018. It'll be there. Oh, you want to read off them?
Yeah.
Cool.
CodeAcross
This is back on.
2018. Just don't want to. I'll get the exact names right. So yeah, there's mapping community benefits for Parkdale. That's by the Parkdale People's Economy Project. They're kind of the parent organization of the Parkdale Neighborhood Land Trust, which is a really rad group of people in the social sector in that neighborhood. They do a lot of mapping to help kind of make the landscape of Parkdale and how it's changing for residents, how new businesses are moving in, to make it legible for people who don't have a big background in reading maps and understanding them. So that is their project. The Students with Special Needs and Pathways to Employment project is going to be run by the Toronto District School Board. So that's kind of cool to have them showing up. The future of third-party data, that's Alex and 3 levels of government. Navigating the justice system is by the Action Group for Access to Justice. And that will be, we're still waiting on a 1-pager sheet with full information, which we hope to have in time to send out a few days before. Avery will be facilitating with that. Oh, yeah, okay, perfect. And future of employment trends is what the Cabinet Office of Ontario will be. They'll have a representative there working on that project. Librarian of the Future is what the Toronto Public Library will be hosting. And and you heard about Future of Commuting Bike Space. So as for specific details, the person coordinating the challenges is not here tonight, and we don't have specific on each one, but the facilitators might be here and have a bit more information. Avery being one of them. Just come to me if you're curious about a specific one, and I'll see if I can line you up with someone who has a bit more information than myself right now.
So I'm wondering, and maybe this works mostly for the open government, is it looking just at here's a list of values and recommendations, or are you looking more for something that's like a prototype of here's how a data sharing agreement could benefit all 3 levels of government or whatever by doing, this? Do you know what I mean? Am I too vague?
I had a long work day, so I'm thinking
so
about it.
So in the back of my mind, so one of the things that I recently became very interested in, if you know of e-Estonia.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah?
Yes.
I imagine most people here do. So I think of something like that where, you only have to give data once wherever you go. So if you want to buy a cell phone, why do you need to give all this information to Rogers when they're going to connect up into the cloud anyways, or whatever? So I'm wondering in that case, is the idea just to put through here's where we're comfortable sharing data, here's where we're not comfortable sharing data, or we should share data for this end purpose?
All that sounds wonderful, and I think you should come in.
There is a great section of the event where it's kind of speed dating is not the right word, but it's kind of like a free form, everyone's at their tables and there's a chance to kind of go up and see whether an idea that you have or an interest you have in the subject area, whether the challenge owners, the folks who are from the organization who are representing it, and the facilitators, whether they think, you can kind of gauge how excited they are to fit that in, or whether you can gauge whether they'll be supportive of you, or whether they know. They'll probably want to be supportive, but it's whether they know enough about the area you're interested in to help you push that forward. The challenge owners often have, they'll have a certain idea of what they think they're working on that night, and we work with them in advance. We have another organizer who's working with them to help them hone what their asks are and to prepare for, any group of people who might show up with various different skills. But they'll have an idea of what they think they're working on, but we do encourage them to just be open to if others show up and want to, work on something that benefits them, but it wasn't quite what they imagined. So it's not locked in or anything like that. There's just only so much of their time to go around, and they might kind of have a bit of an idea of where they're gonna go with it. hopefully that helps. Yeah, the speed dating will help you kind of like suss things out, but it'll be 20 minutes on a Saturday to figure that out.
Other
That's
questions?
If so, thanks so much. Why do I keep, like, this is weird. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'll just do quickly this one pager here. We just got it. So the Ministry of the Attorney General is a ministry responsible for the justice system, and MAG is looking for new ideas to make it easier for the public to access courts. So obviously navigating through a courthouse can be very challenging, especially when people are dealing with very serious and stressful issues, and the ministry wants to ensure that everyone who comes to a courthouse can find the program and services they need. So I guess that's not the case right now. And wants to explore how new assistive technologies can leverage information design, data, images, and audio to improve the user experience of navigating the courts. And so this challenge could involve looking at layouts, photos, descriptions of key services and scenarios, and it would be they're looking for ideas about things like having live information, data sets, mobile messaging, audio guidance. So they're really interested in your design perspectives and skills, and we'll be developing prototypes, maps, and sketches.
Yeah, so thank you for listening, and a shout out to the sponsors of specifically CodeAcross, the City of Toronto. Okay, no for City of Toronto, all right. Government Ontario. Yeah, all right. Law Society of Ontario. Ooh. Ipso Public Affairs. Yeah, okay. And the Royal Bank of Canada. Thank you so much.
Final thing, if we're going to be pulling the challenge owners and facilitators into a special channel for each challenge. So if you just search CodeAcross-C, you'll find the list of all the challenges. And feel free to, if you're interested in one, just jump in and start like asking questions, ask what it's about. And as soon as they jump on Slack, they will get back to you. Anyhow, thanks.
Cool. Okay. Yay, now I have two. Yay. Okay, so if you haven't already signed up for CodeAcross, you should definitely sign up, although it might be sold out. You should just go anyway. Just go to the library and take all of the sandwiches and all of the cookies.
No. Please do not post that on YouTube.
All right, let's move on. Announcement time. Anyone have announcements? Come on up.